Ralph Baer was, and still is, an icon in the video game community. Although he may not have invented video games, he was undeniably the father of home video games. His brown box that later evolved into the Magnavox Odyssey was the first device that you could plug into any consumer television at home and play. So if you've got an Xbox, Switch, or PS5 at home that you enjoy it in great part due to Ralph Baer's pioneering efforts. Now, in 1978, when Magnavox wanted to capitalize on the Atari 2600 success and come out with a successor to the Odyssey, Ralph had nothing to do with it. However, as a Sanders engineer at the time, he tasked fellow engineer Don McGuinness with creating a pinball game for the Odyssey 2 as a tech demo that would incorporate some of Ralph's ideas. Sadly, the game was never released, and almost all the original North American Odyssey 2 games were programmed by Ed Everett, a man that we'll talk about in another episode. So for decades, this prototype sat in Ralph's basement, never seeing the light of day aside from a 30-cart CGA release in 2000. That is, until this came out. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and this week we're looking at something special. The 2015 Signature Edition release of Ralph Baer's Pinball for the Odyssey 2 by Good Deal Games / Homebrew Heaven. 2015, you may be wondering? Didn't Ralph pass away in 2014? Well, yes he did. But thankfully for fans and collectors everywhere, Michael Thomason got all 100 numbered copies of this release signed by Ralph at his home less than 2 months before he died at the age of 92. These copies are something special. It is entirely possible that these are the last autographs that Ralph ever signed. The game comes in a plastic universal case with signed and numbered insert, and it's full of goodies. Okay, and let's take a look at all the goodies that are included. Like I said, there's a universal case here with the really nice artwork. It fits in very well with the Odyssey 2's style. I really like the antenna on her headphones there. And every copy is signed by Ralph H. Baer. Mine is 85 out of 100. Opening the case, you get obviously a professionally printed manual, which tells you how to play the game, as well as a little bit of history behind it and Ralph Baer. You get this really cool patch that has the game artwork on it. That's I don't know if that's an iron-on patch or not, but really cool. It's kind of like the old Activision patches. You get a fridge magnet of the box artwork. You get a Odyssey 2 sticker. And you get the only known photograph, which prior to this had not been released, of Ralph Baer with the Odyssey 2, which is really, really cool. Gotta show you that there. Michael Thomason also put in pinballs. There's a pinball in every single copy of this. And then of course you've got the cartridge and business card there. But you've got a cartridge, and this I believe is a repurposed original cartridge, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's nice to have the handle on there. I do like this, and I really do love the artwork. Okay, so let's take a look at the game. Starting the game, you get the oh-so-familiar Odyssey 2 Select Game screen. Pressing 2 will take you to the unreleased prototype, while pressing any other number will take you to a completed version of the game developed by Good Deal Games with Ralph's blessing. Let's start with the prototype. Pressing 2 prompts you to select a 1 or 2 player game, and once you've done that, you select your table by pressing a number between 1 and 9. Well, I say you select your table, but all you're actually doing is selecting a minor adjustment in the position of the bumpers on the table. And welcome to that table! This green screen with the tiny little flippers in the middle will be your home in this prototype. Launching the ball with the second joystick sends it into the playfield where it does the pinball thing by bouncing around. The zeros on the screen act as bumpers, and in a nice touch, they change color when they're hit. The ball physics feel lazy though. It doesn't have any of that get up and go feeling that a pinball game needs in order to be fun. In this mode, it's nice that you have the option to change the bumpers around, but the base frame of the table leaves a lot to be desired. The bottom two corners are particularly annoying, as the ball will often make its way there and just slowly move, making you have to wait. Even more annoying, though, is that both of these corners sometimes disappear and you lose your ball altogether. There is a tilt function built into the game that you can use by moving the joystick, but all it does is nudge the bumpers to try and hit the ball when it's flying by them. It's a nice little feature, and you can use it to your heart's content, but it doesn't actually affect the ball in any way unless it hits a bumper. So it's useless in getting the ball to move better when it's in a corner. And that's pretty much it for the prototype. Play until you lose all 5 of your balls and it's game over. But let's see what they did to polish it up with the other game selection. Back at the Select Game screen, pressing any number other than 2 will take you to a menu screen where you can select 1 or 2 players and choose between 4 different table layouts. Again, the table layouts are just different arrangements of the bumpers, but this menu is a nice touch and it beats reaching over and using the keyboard to input players and layout. Pressing the button to start, you see that the table frame is exactly the same, and it has all the same failings as the prototype one. The game plays in the same way, albeit with the polish that we'd expect from a more completed game. The paddles look nicer, the background is now black so that the colors pop better, and the ball is definitely snappier than it is in the prototype. In this case though, the ball feels heavy, like it's slamming against the bottom of the screen. My preference is certainly this version, as it feels a lot faster, but I think splitting the difference in the speed between this and the prototype would have given it a better balance. I know they were trying to stay as true as possible to the original here, and I can certainly appreciate that, but a huge quality of life improvement would have been to slant the bottom corners into the paddles, so that whenever the ball gets there, it rolls into the paddles as opposed to slowly bouncing across the floor. All in all, the completed version is just that, a faithful finished copy of what could have been with the original source material. Nothing innovative here, just a bit of spit and polish to make it a complete game. And that, my friends, is Ralph Baer's Pinball for the Odyssey 2. So what did I think of it? Well, it sucks. But undoubtedly, looking at the footage in this review, you probably already guessed that. The ball physics aren't good, and like most early pinball games, it really suffers from a limited layout, and the inability to operate the flippers individually is a big hindrance. Not that it would really matter here, as the ball doesn't really act the way that you might think it should when it hits things. Having the tilt feature is nice, but all in all, both versions of this game are pretty lackluster in their gameplay. But of course, that's not why you buy something like this. You buy it for the history behind the game. You buy it for the autograph. You buy it for the awesome package that Good Deal Games put together. Those who have this can throw it in when they have friends over and be almost certain that it'll be something that none of them have ever seen before. Fun to play? No, not really. Worthy of your collection if you can find one? Hell yeah. I would say that if another run of this was released, obviously without the autograph, it would still be a must-buy for any fan of the Odyssey 2 or Ralph Baer. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it. As always, I've got my contact information on the screen, so get in touch with me if you want to, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.